If it wasn't for my showreel, I would not have an agent right now. Hello everybody, oh my goodness, wow! Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm an actor, I've just graduated and I'm making a little series on my channel all about how I am trying to break into the acting industry. So if you're interested in that, subscribe, follow along my journey, we can do this together. So today I'm going to talk about showreels. It's so important to have a showreel as an actor. Aside from your headshot and your CV, resume, it's one of your main calling cards for getting work. So if you're new here, a showreel is basically like a portfolio for an actor. So it's a short video, usually about 2 to 3 minutes long, showing the actor acting. And this is so that casting directors, agents, anybody in the industry who's interested in working with the actor can see an example of their talent. If it wasn't for my showreel, I would not have an agent right now. That's how important a showreel is. There are other ways to get an agent, but I'm going to talk about how I got my agent in a separate video, so make sure you subscribe. So in this video, I'm going to share with you all the steps I took to make my showreel, and then I'm going to make a separate video explaining some tips, answering some questions, any questions you might have about showreels. So make sure to leave your questions in the comments. A little disclaimer before I start. Yes, my showreel is homemade. It's not perfect. It's just a temporary showreel while I'm getting myself started, and then when I have more footage and a bit more of a budget, I plan on hopefully getting one professionally made. But I don't think it's that bad for a homemade showreel. I think most industry professionals would advise that you get one professionally made, but there are advantages to making your own, especially if you're starting out and you're on a budget. I think having something, anything, is better than having nothing at all. So the first thing I did was I YouTubed how to make an acting showreel. So congratulations, you've already taken that step. I also looked at loads of professional working actors' showreels to get an understanding of what the standard was, how they were edited, what they looked like, how long they were, just have a look at actual showreels so that I could make something that didn't look completely amateur. I did this mostly by just going through Spotlight. If you don't have a Spotlight account, you can just Google actors showreels, you can Google agents, and usually on their client lists, sometimes they'll have like a showreel you can click on, or you can just go on showreel company websites and they usually have loads of samples of actors showreels that they've created. Next, getting footage. Fortunately for me, throughout my 3 years of training at the Arts University Bournemouth, I've had quite a few opportunities to work with the film students, so I've had quite a fair bit of footage. Now, not all of these projects were great. We were all still learning, so quite a lot of the footage was quite amateur, but I had enough to kind of scrape together a few scenes that were decent enough to make a first draft. So after chasing up all the directors that I had worked with over the years, I had enough material to make my first little showreel. Side note, always keep track of the people you've worked with, and if possible, try and get the footage straight after that project is done so that you have it. So my first showreel was an amalgamation, I love that word, of pretty low quality footage, which is not ideal for a showreel. I never uploaded it anywhere. It was kind of just my own little practice one. So nobody ever saw it, thank God. And no, I'm not going to be sharing it with the public. It was horrendous. However, last year I was lucky enough to land a role on a master's degree student film. So master's degree students are usually a lot more experienced and training, so the quality of work is usually a lot better. So if you can get on master's student films, get on them, they are worth doing. I have heard from different sources, such as my tutors and a couple of casting directors, that it is okay to use footage from just one project if that's all, like say all you have, or if that is your best work. I've got a little quote here, hold on. Hold your horses. Casting director Sharon Bailey says, if you don't have 2 or 3 scenes, 1 is good enough. So in my case, this was my best work, so I saw no harm in using just one project. But I will mention that I have had one agent give me feedback on my showreel saying she didn't like the way it was put together and she found it a bit confusing that it was all from the same production. In contrast to that, I've also had a couple of agents tell me that they liked my showreel, and I've had one agent tell me that it was actually better than most graduate showreels that she's seen. So the opinions vary so massively that I don't even know, I don't know if my showreel is good or not, because apparently it's like some people think it's good, some people don't, but I think it's alright, so whatever. Casting director Erica Arvold here on YouTube says, I don't really care honestly about the context of the scene, I just want to see you listening, you being the character, just see you performing your craft at a very high level. So I went through the entire film really carefully and I asked the director to send me only the scenes where I felt my acting was to a good enough standard for a showreel. So then I just sort of narrowed them down and put them all together in my editing software. Okay, so this is not a tutorial on how to edit a showreel, but I'm just going to show you roughly what I did. I use Final Cut Pro, which is what I use for all my YouTube videos. It's quite fancy, it costs around £200, but you don't need a fancy one. You can find loads of really simple to use free ones like Movie Maker or iMovie. So then I just put all my scenes together and I cut them down so that I had no longer than 3 minutes. But I actually recently updated it, so I've cut it down now to just over 2 minutes. Then I just had a good look at the scenes. I placed the scenes in the best order that I saw fit, an order that flowed nicely according to my research. So this is my strongest scene, so I just put that at the beginning. And then I also just added the name of the film being used in the lower left corner, because it seemed like this is what everyone else was doing and it felt right to credit the film, and I quite liked how it looked as well, so it kind of just fades out. And then I added a slate at the beginning and the end with my headshot, my name, my contact details, and my spotlight pin. So a slate like this one is completely optional. Most showreels I've seen, they just have their name come up. I've heard some casting directors here on YouTube say that a slate like this is fine. Some say they prefer the video to get straight to the action. So as you'll notice, my slate is literally about 2.5 to 3 seconds long because time is money. I chose to include my headshot because personally, I just think it gives a nice introduction to who you're about to watch. And should the video ever get lost, all my details are there, the first thing you see. So this is not unusual to do. I did see a few showreels having their headshot at the beginning and I quite liked how this looked. So it's down to your personal preference. It's not necessary to put your agent information and headshot because these may change and then you'd have to get it re-edited, which means paying more. But this is an advantage of making one yourself because you can just update it whenever you need to. Also, you don't have to put a slate at the end either. I just chose to round it off, but like I said, I can easily change this if I change my mind about it. And lastly, I just made sure that all the cuts and transitioned looked and sounded smooth, making sure that I wasn't cutting in the middle of someone speaking or ending in a place that looked or seemed odd in any way. And then I just watched it through a couple times, tweaked it around until I was happy with it. Once I was happy with it, I saved it as an MP4 file, which is the most widely used video format, and I uploaded it to Vimeo. I wanted to make my showreel as easily accessible as possible. I don't want to have to be sending the whole video file via email because the file size can just be massive and just ain't nobody got time for that. I actually made my Vimeo account solely for the purpose of uploading my showreel and as a place to upload private audition tapes. Vimeo is a really well-established video sharing platform and it's pretty professional and legit, so I prefer to use that, but you could also just upload it to YouTube. Now the goal here is making everything as easily accessible as possible. So by having my showreel on Vimeo, all I have to do is send a link, and this makes it really convenient for whoever I'm sending it to, and it also means that it's mobile accessible, and since we are living in the age of the iPhone, all of your materials need to be mobile accessible. I can't tell you how many casting directors will do their work on their phone these days. So now I can share my link wherever I need to, and I have mine set to public, but you could also set it to private. Vimeo also has an option where you can have it private and then create a password for whoever wants to see it. And also Vimeo is great because it allows you to re-upload and update the video without changing any of the stats, views, or the comments. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think YouTube does that. At least I haven't seen any update like that. And then obviously I always keep the video file so I can upload that to my profile such as Spotlight and Backstage. Also, I never delete the project on my editing software so that I can always go back to it, take some footage away, add some scenes in, change the slate, do whatever I need and update it. Having made my showreel, I felt like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Once you have a showreel, you just feel like, I have a showreel, everything's fine. Because usually you're not going to have to update it for, you know, at least a year, I'd say, unless you really want to. And most importantly, it enabled me to get my agent, because if an agent cannot see an example of your work, they will not sign you. But again, I'm going to make another video explaining how I got my agent, the steps I took, what I did aside from making a showreel. So stay tuned for that one. Now, I am going to be very vulnerable by allowing you guys to see my showreel. As I said before, it's not perfect, it's just temporary, but I am going to link it in the description just for you, because I want to share my progress as an actor openly and honestly for all you guys out there who may be in a similar position to me, who's starting out, who doesn't know what the flipping hell they're doing. So hopefully these videos will help you to feel a little bit less lost and alone and terrified. We got this. Let's figure it out together. Let's support each other. Now, if you do decide to make your own showreel, especially if you're not particularly skilled in editing, I will advise that you just use it as a temporary to get you started, and that you get a professionally made one down the road. Typically they run from around 150 to around 600. Some services will like write you some scenes and will film the scenes for you, especially on the more expensive ones. Like I saw one where you can like go to a castle and they'll like film you a whole period scene. If you already have footage and you just want it edited, I think they're around like 150, from around 150 upwards. They'll just edit it together for you. So we've got bespoke showreels, pro actor showreels, slick showreels. There's this website called Sonic Pond, which kind of, it looks a little bit dated and clunky, but it was recommended by our tutors, so Sonic Pond is apparently a good one. I came across a guy called Daniel Johnson Films, and he has a YouTube channel. He also writes and directs, so he writes scenes, so he offers that as a showreel service. You can also go on spotlight.com/contacts, and there is a whole list. If you just type in showreels, a whole list of showreel services will come up. I'm sorry if you live anywhere else aside from the UK, I'm not sure of the services around you, but just give them a Google, do your research, and I hope that you get your showreel done. Make sure you follow my Instagram. I'm trying to build up my acting Instagram, so give that a follow, and please do follow me on Twitter as well. I have lots more videos about acting to come, but also if you're a long-time viewer, I do have like the good old-fashioned like hair and nails videos still to come. So stay subscribed, don't leave me, please. I am going through a little bit of a change now, but this is me growing and developing as a person, so I hope that you will still enjoy my videos. Anyway, I hope this was helpful for you. I wish you so much good luck on making your showreel. Leave me a message in the comments. If you're an actor too, let me know what you're doing. Let me know what you're up to. If you're a casting director, anyone who works in the industry, I love these people. I love you. So start a conversation and let's stay in contact. All right, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Goodbye. Mwah. No, I hate pointing at it. I feel like I've got enough, because I'll probably put like